If you're looking for a new book, I've got one to recommend. It is 1974 by Francine. Prose came out June 18th, 2024 with an absolute stunner of a cover designed by a place called High Tide, and the overall interior book design by Elena Cohen, senior designer at HarperCollins. I'm not ashamed to admit that I took notice of this book due to this cover, and not just because it happened to match the colors of Ledger, but yeah, that helped. And yeah, before we get to the actual story inside, yes, the book just keeps getting prettier. As the cover and the spine says, this is a personal history or memoir, though in this case it feels very intentional that Prose decided to skip that word. Her book is about a very specific time in her life, not her entire life, but also in the life of the United States itself, and even more specifically when her life overlapped with one Tony Russo. Who's Tony Russo? Well, along with Daniel Ellsberg, Tony Russo leaked the Pentagon Papers, which revealed decades of lies, misdeeds, and literal war crimes committed by the United States in Vietnam in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. She met Tony and felt an instant connection, one that does not go the way you might be expecting, and it becomes obvious pretty quickly that Tony's struggling with a lot, and Francine Prose does touch on how today, in 2024, his emotional and mental states would undoubtedly be clarified as being the result of PTSD, not only from his actual time in Vietnam itself, but of writing reports and having the government write lies instead of the truth that he wrote and still attach his name to the reports. It's a sad story, a personal look at a relationship defined by politics that seem to rhyme with some of the stuff that we're seeing today in the United States, but also around the world. And it's at a time when so many promises of the 60s seem to be falling apart in Americans' hands. Toward the end of the book, Prose, in a roundabout way, sums up several themes present in the book when she tells a story of selling tarot card readings at a writers' conference that she was visiting, only to find out that the conference director himself wasn't really into it at all. She says, and quote, "This seems like a story about how you can be an ill-mannered and ungrateful guest while convincing yourself that you are being a stealth warrior for truth and transparency. But it's also a story about being young and inflexible, convinced that the truth is an absolute, that every lie, however harmless and small and kindly meant, is a crime against humanity." End quote. I was already intensely interested in this era and gravitate towards basically any book that promises to tell me more about Vietnam, Nixon, the Pentagon Papers, and Watergate. This book shed more vital and memorable light onto one of the key figures of that era, Tony Russo, and taught me I need to read more Francine Prose. I freaking loved this book. Check out Ledger, where I interview writers of all types, from poets to playwrights to comic book cartoonists and fiction/nonfiction authors. Thank you.